Julie is heading out to get a haircut when she comes across a white envelope labeled credit card bill sitting on her doormat. With a huge sigh, Julie finds out that she has exceeded her credit limit again this month. Her expenses are spiraling out of control, and she is struggling to pay her bills. Her savings are running out at an alarming rate. Julie finds a long line of customers at the salon, a deluxe and sophisticated place uptown brimming with customers. She juggles with her cell phone, placing a couple of orders just because she's bored. Finally, Julie gets her hand on a magazine with interviews and suggestions from the world's wealthiest people, including Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos. A featured article titled "Managing Your Expenses Like the Rich" grabs her attention. Julie is intrigued about how these billionaires manage their expenses and is determined to find out what she's doing wrong. She glances at the clock and then around the luxurious waiting room. At least a dozen customers are waiting for their turn. Julie straightens the magazine and starts reading. The article lays out several tips for managing expenses like the rich more efficiently and guarantees that these suggestions will help the reader control their expenses. Not only that, the reader will also save and invest more, generating wealth for the long run. Tip 1. The article asks the reader to take a good hard look at themselves and evaluate their current financial position. The rich are always analyzing themselves financially. For Julie, this means that she will have to take a day off and look at the numerous receipts strewn around her house and her bank statement to assess how much she's spending on different items and services, like streaming services, discount vouchers, etc. In addition, she must look at the aggregate impact of what apparently she considers harmless spending. For example, if she's spending $100 on different services, she spends a whopping $1,200 annually. Tip number 2. It is also essential, the article continues, to have a robust plan in place to enhance your financial position. The wealthiest can be some of the most frugal people in the world, always sticking to their budgets and never overspending. For this to work, Julie would require a budget. A budget entails a financial plan with approximated income and expenditures calculated for a period, say a month. The article suggests a spreadsheet software, such as MS Excel or Google Spreadsheet, to organize, maintain, and track budgets. Julie will need to update her budget regularly if she wants to manage her expenses. She will also have to monitor her progress each day to ensure that she controls her expenses. Expense tracker apps, such as Expensify, can also aid Julie in logging and tracking her expenses. Tip number 3. Another vital tip for managing expenses is to keep your money in the right places, the article explains. For example, Julie saves all her money in a single bank account, regularly withdrawing money. But unfortunately, she also does not earn any return on the minimal savings she has kept aside in that account. Julie's bank account is a checking bank account, the article elaborates, also called a demand account or a transaction account. These accounts are highly liquid, but do not pay any return, even if substantial savings are stored in them. On the contrary, savings accounts are accounts that pay a return on the amount of money kept, and they can be both short-term and long-term. The significant difference between the two is that long-term savings accounts are usually for an extended period. The savings accounts also do not allow withdrawals, unlike checking accounts. So, if Julie wants to earn a return on her idle cash, she can open a savings account with her bank. Tip number 4. In the process of becoming wealthy, most of the millionaires held more than one job. Suppose the reader is not satisfied with their net income, that is, the income available after paying taxes. In that case, the article suggests starting a second job. People offer many niche skills, especially in freelancing workspaces, including graphic designing and content writing, and even advanced services, such as legal advice and financial consultation. A second income can take pressure off Julie's back as she wrestles with her expenses. Julie is so absorbed in the article she does not realize that the woman sitting next to her is reading the magazine over her arm. Finally, Julie comes out of her reverie as the woman in her mid-50s introduces herself as Amanda with a charming smile. Stuck with spending too much? It can get tough to manage your expenses, especially at a young age. My granddaughter here is an impulse buyer, just like the article says. Well, yeah, I don't think it's such a terrible thing. Or is it? It's not that bad, dear, but it can quickly become annoying and even harmful, especially if you don't realize that you're buying impulsively and not because you really require the item you purchase. My granddaughter, she doesn't listen to any advice whatsoever. Well, yeah, but I don't know how to control this behavior. I can share some advice. Don't ever buy anything that is not necessary right away. Say you saw a beautiful and highly delicate necklace at a shop while helping your friend shop in the mall. You try it out, and it looks gorgeous. What do? Do you purchase it? The obvious answer is yes. However, it would help if you thought long and hard before making a purchase. Think about the utility or the satisfaction you will derive from the item you are shopping for. For example, will you wear that necklace all the time? Or will you wear it occasionally? A better approach would be to do a cost-benefit analysis, or CBA if you will. This is a proven scientific method that will help you explore the costs and benefits of impulse buying. Once you realize that it's a waste of your hard-earned money, you will end up not buying it. Anyway, that's what the news said the other day about how the rich make their decisions. Well, that's sound advice. I will keep it in mind. Thank you so much. Tip number 5. The next big tip that the article blares out in prominent letters is controlling debt. Julie can't see the word at least a dozen times on the same page, staring back at her with a deadly gaze. She gulps and is seriously thinking of skipping this step, but then realizes that it's better to swallow the bitter pill once and for all. To her surprise, the article does not lecture her on how she has been clumsy in managing her debt or that she should have done better. However, it does provide some robust tips about how she can control her debt, like the wealthy in the future. The first tip is to limit the use of credit cards, as they are one of the primary reasons people overspend. While the article agrees that credit cards are an excellent tool for emergencies, it emphasizes that credit cards can prove detrimental if used excessively and without control. It is not an intelligent move to let your credit card debt spiral out of control to a point where paying only the interest payment becomes too much of a liability. The article also suggests that the readers understand their credit score. A credit score represents the credit worthiness of a person. A high credit score can help individuals negotiate better terms with the creditors at lower interest rates. Some suggestions to improve the credit score include not missing interest payments on existing loans, paying on due accounts, and not applying for new loans all the time. The article suggests a stringent policy on debt, encouraging the readers to review their debt arrangements either by themselves or hiring a professional. The rich have an army of financial advisors at their command, whose sole job is to manage their finances and debt. It recommends negotiating with creditors to get better terms, that is, lower interest rates and easy payment options, consolidating loans that the reader has already accumulated, and trying other finance sources that provide better terms. Most of the millionaires, the article posits, not only know, but understand that debt can take a massive toll on their bank accounts if not dealt with smartly. Julie realizes this is something she needs to work on. Tip number 6. After successfully cutting down extra expenses and controlling debt, the reader is now saving a good amount of their income to invest in getting returns. The article talks about Warren Buffett's famous buy and hold strategy, where the aim is to look for long-term market returns rather than short-term gains when buying stocks of a company. The article encourages readers to invest early to have ample savings available whenever required, which directly translates to wealth. The article also advises against investing in risky investments, such as penny stocks, and cautions the reader to go after safer investments, such as savings accounts or stocks of a blue-chip company. Tip number 7. As the article nears its end, Julie expects the last tip to be highly technical. However, she's pleasantly surprised as the article asks the reader to spend freely on themselves. A confused Julie grapples with this idea, as this challenges the premise of the whole article. However, it becomes clear that the article meant it as humor. The article suggests that spending on yourself to increase your self-awareness and productivity is a tried and tested way for billionaires. You can absorb content from several sources, but make sure that the content helps you grow. There are several recommended books by the richest on the planet. Julie skims over the titles, including The Intelligent Investor, recommended by Warren Buffett, Making the Modern World, Materials and Dematerialization, recommended by Bill Gates, and Built to Last, suggested by Jeff Bezos. Julie tries to cram the names in her mind, knowing full well she will not remember any of these. On top of that, she hates reading. As though the article has read her mind, it suggests alternatives to reading, such as listening to podcasts or audiobooks, or reading shorter magazines that can provide the same knowledge. Julie is startled when the receptionist tells her that it's her turn now. She takes a long, hard look around the luxurious waiting area with its comfortable sofas and mahogany wood floor. Then, with a massive effort, she excuses herself politely and walks out of the salon. She takes her cell phone, cancels all the pending orders, and buys a copy of The Intelligent Investor from a nearby bookshop. After a tiring day where she successfully negotiated better terms with most of her creditors, Julie falls asleep with the book still open in her hand. She has scribbled something on the first page. The moonlight reflects a single sentence: "I will manage my expenses like the rich."